Well, okay, most I could. Salaki for that. Shalom, Yahaba Shim Yahshua Barakatham, all the brothers. Shalom, Yahab Shemal Atham, Bashim Yahshua, all the sisters. The Monday night spiritual breakdown class. Go ahead, clap it up one more time. Salaki for that. Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, sorry, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible since 1969, that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the true chosen people of the Most High God. All right. Tonight we're going to be talking about how to survive Christianity and what to do once you leave Christianity. Where should you go? All right. As we said earlier, brothers and sisters are starting to wake up to the crimes and the lies and the hypocrisy of the Christian church. But after they find out, Christianity is, a death trap, they don't know where to go after that. Our brothers and sisters, we don't know where to go from there. So we end up either going from one pit trap, from Christianity to another, being a Muslim or being a Egyptologist or whatever the case is, or we just end up, we end up being what they call spiritual. I know, most brothers, most brothers and sisters is going to go for the, after going from one pitfall to another, one religion to another, one culture to another, at the end of it, end up settling for just, I'm spiritual, which is basically, word, is basically a word suit for I'm going to just get high and do what I want to do, right? So we're just going to talk about how to, once you get out of the Christian church, what should we do? How to survive Christianity. You got that, Zephaniah?
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desire.
So this is what we got to do. This is what we got to do with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because again, Christianity, our brothers and sisters are starting to wise up to how dangerous and destructive and poisonous Christianity has been to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But what we got to understand also is being an individual, being a loner, being a lone wolf, being by yourself is just as poisonous and destructive as being in the Christian church or being in a culture that don't belong to you. You know what I'm saying? Read that again, Baba Shah.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desire.
That's why it's so important for us to. That's why it's so dangerous for us to be by ourselves, and also it's so dangerous to be a part of these other cultures and into these other religions that have nothing to do with us, because we're a what? Read that again.
Gather yourselves together, O nation. It's like gather yourself together, yea, gather together, O nation not desire.
We're a nation not desired. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You can't tell me another nation that's less desired than a Black, Hispanic, or Native American. You can, there's nobody, there's nobody in the world who can tell me honestly another nation of people who is less desired than Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Who fills up the prisons more than Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Who's ostracized and killed without a cause, unarmed, more than Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Whose households are deliberately destroyed systematically more than Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? We are a nation not desired. So that's why it's so important for us to understand that the Christian church is disgusting. Don't get me wrong. The Christian church is a disgusting place to grow up and to raise your kids and to have your kids around. But it's just as destructive. It's just as destructive to be by yourself, and we're gonna get into that. Read on, Baba Prashad.
Before the decree bring forward, before the day pass as the shadows, before the anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
So not only do we need to gather together as a nation not desire and desire one another, but we need to do it with it's an urgent matter. And so we need to do it with urgency, because the fact that we, the fact that we are not together, the fact that we are scattered into these different religions, these different cultures, that's causing us to do abominable things, right? We follow after these other religions, these other cultures, thinking that we just spiritual, thinking that we just, we can just take a little bit of this and a little bit of that from this culture, and then take a little bit of this from this culture, and then get high on the side, and then do this, that, and the third, and you can fall short, and then the Lord still loves you. You can sin a little bit, all of that. Like, we doing all of that. All of those things is making the Lord angry. It's making the Lord angry at us, man. Right. And that's what that scripture just said. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon us, right? So that's the reason why we suffer these curses. That's the whole reason. Baba Kashad, can I get Amos chapter 3 verse 3? Now we like this is the whole reason why we end up becoming individuals. Like, you can 9 times out of 10, if you ask anybody who left the Christian church, they gonna tell you about all the different things that they tried out, all the different books that they done read, and all the different religions they done fell into, all the different cultures they done tried out before they turned into and eventually it led them to be an individual. And this is why. Go ahead, read what you got. Amos 3 and 3.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Right.
That's so important for us to understand, because you can't, if y'all don't, if two people don't agree, y'all can't walk together, y'all can't work together, y'all can't build together, because y'all don't agree.
Right.
Y'all can't make we can't make no progress if we don't agree. So that's what leads people to even leave the Christian church in the first place, because again, because of all the crimes and all the disgusting things that happen behind closed doors in all these Christian churches, the Eddie Long and all these, all these disgusting things that happen to us, right, and to our people in these Christian churches,
right.
So we ain't going for that. We decide that we tired of that, tired of dealing with all these lies and all these disgusting things, all these crimes that's not being, that's not being addressed. So we leave there, right? But it's gonna be the same. What we gotta understand is it's gonna be the same case. It's gonna be the same case if you join. If you decide that, okay, now I'm not a Christian, right? Which, kudos to you. Now you decide you're not a Christian no more. Now you decide you're a Muslim. Well, the Muslim culture belongs to the Arabic, the Arabic people. That's a whole nother nation, and all these nations had a hand in your captivity in America.
Right.
The Chematology, the so-called Africans. That's a whole different culture of people, and that's another nation of people that had a hand in your captivity. They sold you to your oppressor, right? Same with Christianity. That's your oppressor's religion. You know what I'm saying? With their pale depiction of Christ, when Christ is described as a black man with woolly hair, right? That's their religion. You had something on the.
I just got precepts.
Oh, go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 5. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Verse 6. Therefore thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east, and are smooth sayers like the Philistines. And they please themselves in the children of strangers.
If I could.
You know what I'm saying? It's so heavy because that's us. You know what I'm saying? As Black Hispanics and Americans, because we want to go to these different beliefs and these different religions. You know what I'm saying? And we want to be Muslims. We want to be, China people. We want to be, we want to be African so bad. It don't make no damn sense how bad we want to be African. You know what I mean? But this is us, and that's the thing. It's so crazy because they said, "Well, how you know this is us?" Because we fit the descriptions. That, so we fit the curses. We fit, the characteristics of an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? So like
what you said was absolutely correct. Like we desperate for an identity because we haven't had one for so long. We end up, like you said, trying to please these. Like once you put on another nation's culture, and that was so heavy what you just brought out. Once you put on another nation's culture, like you serve them. Right. Like you put yourself in a position to serve these other people who all came together. Let me get Psalm 33, Baba Kashar, real quick. Who all came together to put your black behind in captivity. Right. Still to this day. Right. Still to this day. Right. Like what we about to read in Psalms 83, that's history. That's historical. You know what I'm saying? Where these nations got together. They've always gotten together. Read verse 4. Yeah, come.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 4. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance."
That's what these other nations have done, and they keep doing it. Like this is ancient as the Bible. And this is also how we ended up being scattered all over the world. That's how the so-called Benjamites, the West Indians, ended up in the over in Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, and that's how our Hispanic brothers ended up in South America. That's how we ended up as blacks, as so-called black people. That's how we ended up in America. Because they gathered together with one consent. Which verse is that?
Verse 4.
Oh, go ahead, read on.
Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent.
Right.
They are offended and esteemed.
Right. They gathered together with one consent to put your black behind in captivity. Like that's why it's so necessary for us to understand that these other nations, we can't join their culture. I know Christianity is garbage. You know what I'm saying? You should definitely turn your back on Christianity and the Christian church. Get your family, get your wives, get your sons and daughters out of that Christian church. Right. But going into another nation's culture is not the way either. That's just as destructive, just as poisonous to our people as Christianity. Because these nations only can come together with one consent to make sure you never find out who you really are. Like you're not a Muslim, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. You're not a Christian. You're not a Hindu with them dreadlocks. You're not a Buddhist. You're not you know what I'm saying, with all them crystals and the chakras and all of that. You're not none of that. You are an Israelite from one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Right. And your identity, your lineage matters, man. And that means more than anything. That means more than any kufi or some bean pie. That means more than, you know what I'm saying? That means more than astrology or any of these things that we tend to put our faith in our lives and put our lives into. Right. Just knowing who you are, man. Go ahead, priest.
It's like, it's so heavy what you bring out because, we think we Muslim, right? But what happened when the Arabs came over here? Right? They got set up with housing, Airbnbs. You black and Hispanic American, we try to be Muslim so bad. We've been in the ghetto. We've been homeless. Are they taking care? Are they putting homeless black people in Airbnbs? No. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because like you brought up the scripture, they are consulted against thee. Who is thee? It's you. It's black Hispanic Americans.
Right. In the water, you just most of that pray. Like Like our when they come over here, like it's evident, you know what I'm saying? Like it's ancient. We reading this out of the Bible, which was, you know what I'm saying, this is thousands of years ago, and we see it happening today. So, you know what I'm saying? What this brother is saying is absolutely correct. You know what I'm saying? They took crafty counsel against you then, and now you look around, who owns your beauty supply store? Is it not the Chinese? Is it not the Indians who own all your hotels?
Right.
Is it not? Or you know what I'm saying, your corner stores, is it not the Arabs? Like, look around you, and then all the while you in your neighborhood broke. You in your neighborhood broke with bugs and roaches crawling all over you and your kids at night, and these nations are surrounding you, eating, living deliciously off of you,
Right.
poisoning you. So we're not just talking out the side of our necks. It's like a preacher.
Okay, so what the problem is, is Christianity, is destroyed us because Christianity, teaches that God loves everybody, so we should love everybody.
Right.
So, because, they feel in their heart that we should love everybody, well, there's nothing wrong with being a Muslim, because we have to love everybody, you know what I'm saying? There's no problem with being a Buddhist, because, we have to love everybody, So the problem is we just don't understand, that the Bible is a separatist book. We don't understand that, we have our own culture. And we have to understand, that it is right to separate. Not going along with Christianity that, we're supposed to all be together and God loves everybody and we're supposed to love everybody equally, because that goes against the Bible. But because that's what's embedded in our head, we can do anything that we want to do because God loves everybody, and we're supposed to love everybody. So none of these other religions, like if we join them, like it's cool. If I want to grow dreads, well, it's cool. Like, what's the problem? If I want to smoke weed, what's the problem? I'm not hurting nobody, so that's the thing. Because we're so distorted and we think that we're supposed to love everybody, we tend to love everybody.
Right.
That's so heavy, because what the preacher just said, like we taught to love everybody, and that we gotta love, we just one big melting pot, and you know what I'm saying? No, you know what I'm saying? Everybody could be who they want and they free to do whatever they want. It's a free country. You can worship whatever you want, you can believe whatever you want to believe. But the thing about it is you're the only nation, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who's taught that. Like when these other nations, like we just talked about, when they come over here and they set up shop in your neighborhood and don't they eat off of you, but don't put a dime back into your neighborhood. They sell you things to help destroy yourself, and they take from you. You know what I'm saying? They stay separate. You know what I'm saying? They take that money back home to their people, and then they set up more stores, more hotels, more corner stores, more hair beauty supply shops, and they keep the money within their family. And they don't come over here trying to celebrate Christmas. They don't come over here and try to, you know what I'm saying, celebrate the 4th of July. And how do I know this? Because if you look on a calendar, right, they got all the American holidays on your calendar.
Right.
But then they also got Kwanzaa.
Right.
Right, which is not an American holiday. They got all these different nations' holidays on the calendar because they respect them and their necessity to be separate. But you're the only nation taught Black, Hispanic, and Native American to be inclusive, all inclusive with everybody, and that it doesn't matter what you do or what culture you follow, and that's for the whole purpose of is a little more in that Psalms 83. And that's the whole purpose of that's what Psalms 83 is talking about. You're taught these things for a reason. You're deliberately taught these things to be all inclusive with all these different nations for the purpose of taking crafty counsel against you for one consent to make sure that your nation is forgotten about. Slacky, sir, you want to drink on that?
And the thing about it is, all these other nations realize that you're a threat.
Right.
A threat to their rulership. You know what I'm saying? That you are a threat to, their power.
Right.
Because if you wasn't a threat, why would all the nations get together? You know, people over here, if they don't matter, then why are we coming together? You know what I'm saying? That they name be no more.
Right.
What does it matter? If these people are nothing, if these people are at the bottom, if these people, mean nothing, what's the problem? Would you let them be?
Right.
But they understand that you are the greatest thing on the face of this planet. They understand that the most high power, the most high living God is your God and your God only. So the thing about it is these nations, they know.
Right.
These nations understand what's going on. It's just that we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Right.
So we tend to go with their, notions, or we tend to go with their philosophies, to turn around and make ourselves inferior. So,
right. Constantly. Like what you said was absolutely. That's so heavy what you just did. Like they done built a dream team against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They didn't all, and all the while, like the priest said, they want to convince you that you're nothing. But they coming together to against this so-called tiny nation. We so insignificant and small and dumb, right? We so what's the word? We so inadequate. We so incapable. We so illiterate, right? If that was the case, why not just let us, you know what I'm saying? Why not just leave us alone, right? If we wasn't a threat, you know what I'm saying? Logically, you know what I'm saying? Because we so immature and illiterate and dumb, right? We would just fall apart on our own, right? If they just left us alone. But like the priest just said, they can't do that because they know that it's like it's but they know who we are, and they know the power that we would have if we were to come back to our nation and our culture, which is why it's so important for them to keep our nationality and our culture hidden. Like I said.
real quick, the thing about it is they've seen what we can do. They've seen the nations that we built up.
Right.
They've seen all these great things that we accomplished and that we can accomplish. So in no way can they let us be alone. Because if we did these things for other nations, imagine what the hell we'll do for ourselves.
Right. Well, we got so-called emancipated in what was it? 18. We got emancipated, you know what I'm saying? And then 50 years after that, you know what I'm saying? We had our own cities, we had our own thriving cities, businesses, doctors, lawyers, we had our own colleges, we had millionaires, we had wealth. 50 years after we were so-called emancipated from slavery, we had our own thriving society. We were thriving. Right. And not only were we thriving, but our oppressors were experiencing a great depression. Right. 50 years after our so-called emancipation. That should just let you know that you've been lied to. You've been lied to and plotted against. Like, you are not like these other nations. You are not. There is no melting pot, and there is no equality. You know what I'm saying? We are obviously better than these people, these other nations, because of what we just off of seeing what we've done and how much we've been able to do directly out of slavery. You know what I'm saying? And how much effort they have to put in to make sure we're oppressed and continue to be on the bottom. I should just,
and then they went so hard as to even, they had to bomb your cities.
Right.
They had to bomb your Black Wall Streets. You know what I'm saying? They had to, bomb, these other cities, that we, build. They had to sabotage, these buildings, these businesses and societies that we built. Because again, they said, okay, their pride got the best of them. Oh man, let's just let them go and do whatever they do, man. Let's just go and let them out of, go emancipate them. Just go, hey, listen, put them in this corner over there. Well, now you put them in that corner, now they got schools, they got railroads, they got bus lines, they got businesses. And you looking at like, what the hell? We just let them out of slavery. What the hell are we doing here? You know what, man? Just say some, and then this the thing, man. Could you imagine today somebody getting in an airplane and flying over some space and dropping some bombs on the city and not being labeled a terrorist and put under the jail, or even, you know what I'm saying, killed? But because our oppressors did it to us, well, then now nobody talks about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Nobody talks about Black Wall Street. Only reason I knew about Black Wall Street because a gangster or a so-called gangster named Game, named his label Black Wall Street. You know what the hell Black Wall Street was, and I had to go do my homework because society doesn't teach you the accomplishments of Black people. They don't teach you how great you are. America's job is to keep you docile. America's job is to keep you in the dark because no way in hell can they let Blacks rise into power and take over them. And as they should. I mean, hell, if we had our own country, we wouldn't let nobody else come in our country and rise above us and take over our country. You understand? So that's why it was so heavy what you brought out earlier, the Zephaniah 2:1. We got to gather ourselves together. O nation not desired, because we've already showed in a little bit of time and with a little bit of resources what we can do. So anything we got to do is come together, love one another, so that way we can get our own nation, we can get our own kingdom, and then we're gonna see, how our kingdom compares to the kingdom. Right.
That's so heavy. That's so heavy. They did. It's about what almost 700 cities that's been destroyed. Black cities, black businesses, black society or black communities that's been destroyed or flooded underwater. Seneca Village, right, or bombed, destroyed, murdered, lynched. All of those things. It's about almost. I believe it's almost 700. If not over 700 cities all over America who have experienced that same story on American soil. Like they are bombing, like the priest said, if America, you know what I'm saying, perceives another nation to be a threat, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be some smoke in the city. Right. They're not just about to, you know what I'm saying, they're not about to just take that lying down, not even just a perception of a threat, but yet after, after we start thriving on our own and building our own societies and start being independent from our oppressor, then that's how desperate they are to have us on the bottom. Because they already, you know what I'm saying, they already have the power. They already run America. They already run the government. They already run the police force. They already run the military. Right. So what they need to mess with us for? You know what I'm saying? We over here building up our little societies, you know what I'm saying, in our little small towns, our small little neighborhoods, minding our business. And what they do, they go out their way to come holler at us, to come and mess with what we done put together after all this oppression that we received. Like we didn't rise up in arms. Like once we got emancipated, we didn't rise up in arms and try to, you know what I'm saying, come up against our oppressor and be aggressive against our oppressor, try to take over America after building it from the ground up, after our land was stolen from us. We didn't do that. We just took our little families and moved, you know what I'm saying, you over here, our oppressor's gonna set up, or you know what I'm saying, our oppressor already set up over here, we just gonna move our stuff over here, build up our little neighborhoods, and then live amongst one another. You know what I'm saying? Like the scripture said, we just decided to gather together. So that should let you know, Black man, Hispanic man, and Native American man, how important it is that we continue to do that. Because it's some power. Let me get Baba Kashad. Let me get Judith chapter 5, verse 20. Baba Kashad. Let me make sure that's correct. And this is just so. This just lets you know how important this is. Let me see, Salaki. It just lets you know that how crucial it is for you to continue to do those things, to continue to separate, to continue to you know what I'm saying, to put down your oppressor, to put down your oppressors, you know what I'm saying, ideologies and religions, and build your own society and completely separate from them because they know. Let me see. Just, just for the just for the sake of time.
Was it 19?
No, you can read verse 19. Oh wait, no, verse 18. Oh no, 17. Salakia, 17. Okay. There you go.
This is the book of Judah, chapter 5, verse 17. And whilst they said, not before their God.
So this is just to give a little background. This is our oppressor, you know what I'm saying? This is our oppressor, you know what I'm saying, ruling over us like they've always done time and time again and throughout the history of the Bible. Right? You know what I'm saying? We got this oppressive nation ruling over us. And or they got these oppressors trying to make a move on us, right? They got this oppressive nation or this heathen nation trying to make a move on Black, Hispanic, and Native American, the nation of Israel. Right? So the king of that nation, right, or the leader of that nation or whatever, right? They he like, okay, why let's make this move, and he basically this heathen is warning the leader, right? He like, hey, look, I wouldn't make a move on them right now because they right with they most with the Most High. Read that again.
And while they sin not before their God.
So this is what these other nations. This is real crucial for us to understand. This is what these other nations know about the Most High God, our power, and this is what these other nations who we want to join so bad. This is what these other nations know about us as well. Go ahead, read on, Bob.
They prosper.
They did what?
Prosper.
So why we read that from the top again, Bob?
And while they sin not before their God, they prosper.
So while they sin not before their God, while we weren't eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, while we weren't a nation of homosexuals and sexual deviants, while we weren't Christians, while we weren't joining with these other nations and becoming Buddhist and Hindu and Kemet and Egyptology and all of that garbage, while we weren't doing that, we did what?
Prospered.
We prospered. That's what happened. That's what these other nations, it's not just us saying it, right? That's what these other nations know about us, which is that's what explains why there's so much homosexuality pushed into children's TV shows and children's movies and you know what I'm saying? What's up?
The media platform.
Right. And the media, in all social media platforms, all TV shows, all movies, all music, that whoredom and homosexual spirit and that you know what I'm saying, that spirit of wanting to harm your brother, kill your brother, and hate your brother, all of that's being pushed at you because these other nations already know, even though we don't know, these other nations know that if you don't sin against the Most High, we prosper. Go ahead, read on.
Because the God that hated iniquity was with them.
See, the God that hates iniquity is with us. But the thing, and what you got to understand is these heathen nations are full of iniquity. Right. They are teeming with iniquity. Everything that they about, go, you had something you want to do?
And it's so heavy when you bring out because good night. The scripture said because the God that hated iniquity was with them. Meaning these are heathens talking about the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? And they knew that the children of Israel serve a living God, serve a God with practicality. Their God don't have that. That's why they can be homosexuals. They can sleep with little boys and little girls. You know what I'm saying? These other, like you're saying, these heathens know, the God of the Bible is righteous. You know what I'm saying? And what they doing is wrong, but they so full of lust. So full of lust, they don't give a damn. And that's what they put on our people. Because our people are lawless people now. Back before then, like you're saying, so heavy, that we serve the God that hated sin. And we wasn't doing the things they was doing. So
that's some LGBT. They can be, they can murder one another. They can hate one another. You know what I mean? They can steal and rob one another. They can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord don't deal with them. The Lord ain't never dealt with any other nation but Israel. They can do these things, but the thing is, the only way that they can prosper over us is if we're doing it too. So they're always gonna find new ways, new things to put in your face, new things to put in your face to get you to weaken your defenses, so the Lord will turn his back on you. So the Lord will turn his back on us. Like your oppressors are very crafty. Like we just read in Psalms 83, they took crafty counsel. This right here, what we read in Judith chapter 5, verse 17, is crafty counsel. Right. This is crafty counsel. They know that if we sin against the Most High, that the Lord's not going to be with us. Read verse 18, Baba Kanshai. And then you skip down to verse, or go ahead and read verse 18.
Oh. Verse 18. But when they depart from the way which he appointed them, right, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
We were do what? We were led captive where?
Into a land that was not theirs.
So this is 1,000 years before the this is historical. This is history that we're reading right now, and this is what these nations. This is, if I'm not mistaken, well, I don't want to guess, but like these nations, nonetheless, have always known that if we sin against the Most High, they can make a move on us, even when, and that's where the read verse 20, Baba Kasha.
Verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and governor.
You can read on Baba Kasha. We're gonna read all the way through the 20.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemy.
This sound familiar? I know this sound familiar, right? Go ahead, read on.
Verse 19. But now are they returned to their God.
So at this time, we were following these laws, statutes, and commandments. We would return to the Most High God, and to the things that He told us to do. We returned to our culture. Go ahead, read on.
And are coming from the places where they were scattered.
So we were scattered before, like we scattered today. We scattered we scattered abroad the water. We scattered abroad among the four corners of the earth, right? As we are right now. We were scattered then too. But because we turned back to the Most High, we were come up from the places we were scattered. Go ahead, read on.
And have possessed Jerusalem.
And we possessed Jerusalem, the holy city, Yerushalayim and Lashon Kadah, the city of peace. You know?
When their
sanctuary is, man. We ain't got no sanctuary right now. Go ahead, read on.
And our seed in the hill country, for it was desolate.
Go ahead, read on.
Verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and governor.
So here come the crafty counsel right here. So we was you know what I'm saying? We was a thriving nation. You know what I'm saying? We was in Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? Following our law, statutes, and commandments. We were gathered together like the Most High commanded, like we read in Zephaniah chapter 2 and 1. We was doing what we had to do so that the Lord could be with us, and we were prospering because of that. So they had to take crafty counsel again. This is the second time we're reading this. We read it in Zephaniah, how they took crafty counsel against us, and now we're reading in the Apocrypha in Judith chapter 5, where they're taking crafty counsel again against us. Go ahead, read what they did, and it's gonna be we gonna see a pattern here. Go ahead, read on.
If there be any error against this people, now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people,
So okay, go ahead, read on. Like,
and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
nah, because no. All you gotta do is just be bigger and, you know what I'm saying, have bigger guns, bigger weapons, and a stronger military. What would be our, if they read that from the,
Let us consider that it shall be their ruin.
if there be any error in these people and they sin against the Most High, that will be their ruin. It ain't got nothing to do with military might of our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never been. You know what I'm saying? Numbers ain't never meant nothing to us like that, to the Most High. Like it ain't numbers ain't never meant nothing. You know what I'm saying? Size and stature ain't never meant nothing to the Most High like that.
Right.
He's with us, right? You know what I'm saying? It just depends on whether we're following our law, statutes, and commandments in our culture, separated from these other nations, or we're doing things that aren't pleasing to the Most High. We're following after these other cultures. You got something?
Yeah, man. Hey, Shalaki, preach. When you saying so heavy, because like you look at today's time, man. You look at all the warriors that we got playing basketball and football. You got dudes that's 300 pounds running 4.6s. You got dudes that's 6'5", 230 running 4.2s, man. You think these little puny little persons think they can, they can overpower brothers like that that's coaching them? The reason why, because that's the Lord. The Lord doing that, man. It's physically impossible for somebody to take on somebody that's bigger than them. You know what I'm saying? And the other person is weak. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, we dance better than them, we cook better than them, we do everything better than them. So it has to be a power, and the reason why they're over us. It gotta be a power. They're great. And these are at the time the oppressors knew that. So they give us pork chop. It's so cheap. They put everything pork in every goddamn thing we consume it because we're poor people, right? They say celebrate your birthdays, so celebrate Christmas, eat pork, shoot crab and lobster, be a whore. It's okay. Your body, your choice. Kill your baby. Your body, your choice. Brother, you go out there and be a doggone gangbanger, man. Anybody got you with you and your the gang member, and you end up alone in prison. You know what I'm saying? You gang banging, you kill another brother that's in the same predicament you in. You know what I'm saying? That's how we sit against our God. You know what I'm saying? Slide.
Nah, what you said. Like it's no accident that you know what I'm saying. Now do you see why they push, you know what I'm saying, they make whores of our women and make them billionaire entertainers? You know what I'm saying? Do you understand now why they pushing the LGBTQIA plus whatever all the letters that they add? You know what I'm saying? Right, yeah. Like, does it make sense now why they're doing this? It's not because they just want to love everybody. Everybody just all love, and we should just love and love this and love that, and everybody should just come together. Nah, it's not that simple. It's because they know that if we sin against the Most High, then that will be our ruin.
Right.
Is there any more left on that? So after they convince us to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, convince us to be homosexuals, to convince us to be whores and whoremongers, convince us to celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah, and become Buddhists and all these different things, then what?
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So they know that they can't overcome us unless they put these traps in front of us and have us fall into these pitfalls of sinning against the Most High. This is in the Bible. This is a heathen talking. This is another nation of people talking and telling their leaders, like, look, I wouldn't mess with them right now because the Most High is with them. The Most High God is with them. They not sinning. They not eating they not doing nothing abominable. They following their law, statutes, and commandments. But let's just put let's just put a homosexual movie on Disney Channel and convince the kids to let's just glorify you know what I'm saying, trans teens, trans children, and put Dwayne Wade's son all over the internet dressed up and walking a catwalk like a girl. Let's do that and manipulate the minds of Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Let's attack them in that way, and then once they take the bait, then we can make a move. That's always been the game plan. That's why they have to take crafty counsel against the Lord's people.
Right.
That's the whole point. Baba Kashai, let me get Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9.
No. Want the heart.
And that's the importance of you know what I'm saying, separating, like we've been talking about all night. It's important, you know what I'm saying, Most High in Christ, our brothers and sisters are finally waking up to how destructive and disgusting Christianity really is, and all this different denominations and variations. You know what I'm saying, the Roman Catholic Church and all these different things and the different denominations of Christianity. Most High in Christ, but we got to understand that these other nations' culture is just as destructive, because once we go into their cultures, then we open the doors for ourselves to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? All these other nations are nothing to the Most High. They don't matter to the Most High. Their gods are nothing. They worshiping wood and stone.
Right.
They worshiping, you know what I'm saying? They worshiping garbage. Their culture is full of abominations and disgusting and poison. And all of them had a hand in our captivity.
Like what's that one word? Astro something. They was worshiping with Abraham. They were looking at the stars.
Oh, astrology.
Astrology, yeah.
Yeah, all of that is abominable. All of those things, everything outside of the Most High is nothing, right? So once you choose to separate from the Christian church and separate from all these other nations, now what do? Right? We're gonna find out, because this is where things can get muddy. Go ahead, read what you got.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 9.
See, our brothers and sisters are we're tired of being lied to and being destroyed and being, you know what I'm saying, in poverty, and being, you know what I'm saying, thinking that we done found some truth and something, you know what I'm saying, worth following, something that's gonna give us purpose or some substance in our life, and then turn around and after giving decades of our lives to this culture, to Egyptology, to the Christian church, to being a Muslim, to being a gangbanger, to being a blood in a crip, to being all these, you know what I'm saying, giving your life to the military, to the police force, and giving your life and your dedication to America. We're tired of giving decades of our lives to these bottomless pits and getting nothing in return but lies and destruction. So what does that make us do? We wanna turn our back on everything, because we can't trust nobody. We can't trust nobody. We can't trust our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? We can't trust democracy, or we can't trust either party. You know what I'm saying? Either party, government party. We can't trust the military. We can't trust the police force. We can't, and we feel like we can't trust our own brothers in the hood. Right. So we become loners. We become addicted to being loners and by ourselves, man. You know what I'm saying? But we got to understand this about ourselves. Go ahead, read what you got, Baba John.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful. It's like the heart is deceitful above all things.
See, we think that you know what I'm saying? That what is everybody who say that they spiritual? What do they say? Oh man, I don't need to be in no. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. You know, God is within you. It's within you, man. You just gotta just ignite.
And the ironic thing about that is the Most High made you spiritual. He didn't give you religion.
Right.
It's just your spirit is in the wrong place.
Right. That's so heavy. Like the Most High never intended for us to. That's why we so exhausted. Like the scriptures say, the reading of many books, paraphrasing, the reading of many books comes. There is no end. You know what I'm saying? You just gonna make your flesh weary. You just gonna wear yourself out, and that's what happens to Black Hispanics and Native Americans. We go from this religion to that religion, to this religion, to this culture, to this spirituality, to this astronomy, to this Saturn rising and Aquarius. Well, I don't know what they call it, but we go from this, that, and the third. We go back and forth. We got whiplash. We're exhausted. We're exhausted because the Most High never intended for us to do these things in the first place. Like the priest said, He made us spiritual. We're not religious, but we spent our entire life in religion, trying to emulate the culture of all these different heathens around us, and that's been leading to our downfall. So, because we're so exhausted from being disobedient, because again, the Most High never told us to do these things. We're so exhausted that now all we feel like we can trust is ourselves. But that couldn't be farther from the truth either. Is there any? As a matter of fact, can I get verse 1, Bible from just so we can understand how unreliable you are when you lean on yourself.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 1. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven unto the table of their hearts.
And it is what?
Graven upon the table of their hearts.
So it is. We are without the Most High being able to, without the Most High giving us these laws, statutes, and commandments, and this code of conduct, so to speak, to follow, and this culture to follow, we will be doing all sorts of things, all sorts of abominable things, because it's written on our hearts with a pen of iron with the point of a diamond. That's how deep it goes. Like, go read on. Or you was gonna bring something out?
No.
Okay, no.
And upon the horn of the and upon the horns of your altar.
That's how deep it is. Like we so that's why it says, now go ahead and read what was we at, verse 9? Yeah. That's why go ahead and read verse 9.
Verse 9, the heart is deceitful above all things, and
that's really wicked. Go ahead and read on.
Who can know it?
Who can know it? Like, you think that the Lord is the Most High is within you, that you don't have to, you could just get high and the Lord is just with you. You know what I'm saying? You could just, you could sleep with this woman and throw her away, and then, you know what I'm saying, the Lord is, you know what I'm saying, to think the Lord is with you. You can just celebrate Christmas because it feels right. And that's the thing, man, because that's the thing, because if you ask anybody who left the Christian church, right? You ask somebody like, oh yeah, the same person who would say, oh yeah, I'm not religious. You know what I'm saying? I'm not religious because this, that, and the third. I'm spiritual. That same person who left the Christian church because of all the lies and hypocrisy and the poison in there, you ask them on the 4th of July. Well, how could you celebrate the 4th of July knowing that our people were slaves? How could you celebrate Thanksgiving knowing that our this is the celebration of them stealing our land? How could you do these things knowing that this is the celebration of our oppressors murdering us?
Right.
And they're gonna be like, what they gonna say? What they gonna say? They're gonna say, oh, it's just, it just feels. What you got?
It's like I said, this is the only day I get a day off.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be some garbage like that. You know it's wrong though, right? You know it don't make no sense. But you just go, oh, I just gotta, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like the children should be able to to be able to enjoy the day. You know what I'm saying? They get out of school. I feel like I should be able to enjoy my day off. You know what I'm saying? Because I work 2-3 jobs. I should just be able to enjoy my day off. You know what I'm saying? The 4th of July. I'm not celebrating the 4th of July. It's just the day off for me. But you out there blowing fireworks up and carving in the turkeys and all of that.
Right.
With your oppressor, but you claiming that you're not celebrating the holiday with them.
Good night.
Like that's how our hearts deceive us. If you grade in your own paper, like if you out there by yourself, you know what I'm saying, you tired of the Christian church, you tired of these fake religions and these cultures, so you decide to rely on yourself, man, you ain't gonna do nothing but just deceive yourself. Like you just gonna rely on yourself, and now the code of conduct, the metric of conduct, or the metric of your righteousness is it fluctuates. So one day, you know what I'm saying, one day you trying to stop smoking, you trying to stop getting high. One day you like, yeah, I ain't trying to do this no more. And then the next day, you know what I'm saying, you trying to find out where the smoke at. You trying to, you know what I'm saying, like one day you hot over you hot one day, then you cold the next day. One day you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you got a routine going for yourself. You got a certain metric of standard for yourself one day, and then you get lazy, you get tired, you get a little you get weary, and then you can fluctuate the standard because you're grading the paper. Your measuring stick is inconsistent. What you about to say?
Hold on. I think I'll preach it.
Oh, go ahead, preach.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
Damn. We so spiritual. We want to be so spiritual, but at the end of the day, we are carnal.
Right.
We are carnal. And you know what I'm saying? Let's say just for an example, right? Let's say you are trying to stop getting high, right? You know what I'm saying? We sitting there, we like, all right, I'm this gonna be my. I know everybody that been here before. Yeah, this my last blunt. This the last one right here, right? And you know what I'm saying? You smoking it down, and you like, yeah, I'm about to get right. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to stop getting high. This the last one. This the last time, right? Yeah, you gonna get clean for this good job, right? You like, yeah, man, I gotta put this down so I can elevate. You know what I'm saying? Get a better job, right? Give it a couple, you know what I'm saying, a couple weeks, if you even last that long. You know what I'm saying? Give it a couple days. You're gonna be like, you be calling the plug like shame. Gonna be, but you measuring yourself, so it's like you don't feel shame. You don't feel the shame. Like you feel shame for a split second, like, but you give yourself a pass. It's like, man, it's been a hard day. Yeah. Man, I just had to deal with some BS on the job. Yeah. Man, I need to smoke today. I know I said I wasn't gonna smoke. I know you don't smoke. I'm gonna get you high today. That's what we say to ourselves, right? You know what I'm saying? Like because we're lowering and raising the bar at our own will because our hearts are deceitful. You was about to bring something out?
Oh yeah, if I could. You know what I'm saying? It's so heavy what you're saying because and we think we the most spiritual because we smoke that high spiff. We smoke that L. We smoke that Zaza, whatever you want to call it. Smoke that weed. So you think you're spiritual, but the scripture says that only way you can be spiritual if you go by the law, that's commandments, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be spiritual if you smoking weed and you think you can tell the future. I don't know, man. Yeah, you can't be spiritual, man. If you out here, you getting slam dunked by every brother, you sisters out there. You know what I'm saying? Talking about you spiritual because you like some stages and you get all the bad energy about you, but you ain't getting good night. It's right. But the only way you can be spiritual if you're a Black Hispanic American is being, coming back to your culture. I'm gonna say that.
Right. Get out of hand. And like we just read before, these other nations know that. Like these other nations know that that your spirituality don't come from you just, getting high and then reaching some, some sort of enlightenment who, you getting high and now you just had some epiphany, or you can read, you reading tarot cards and you reading poems and all of that. That's not spirituality, man. This, our spirit comes from us, it comes from the Most High and these laws, statutes, and commandments that He gave us.
Right.
Like that's how powerful our culture is that the Most High gave us, man. That's how powerful this is, man. So you left Christianity, right? Left Christianity, then you went into all these different nations, all these different cultures and whatnot, and now you found out that Christianity is some garbage. You found out these other nations' cultures is garbage, and now you found out that leaning on yourself ain't trustworthy. you find out leaning on yourself ain't trustworthy because our heart is wicked and deceitful. And really, when you leaning on yourself, when you leaning on yourself, you're really doing everything. Like you think that you'd have put down Christianity because you left the building and decided to lean on yourself and become spiritual, quote unquote. You just picked and chose what you was gonna keep from Christianity. And right. Well, we like to take it. We like to take what we want to keep from Christianity and what we want to leave behind. So we got the we read in the Bible, you know what I'm saying, because that came out, because we feel like we associate that with the Christian church. And then we reading out of the Quran because we trying to, you know what I'm saying, all the gods is the same. It's the same God, but in a different culture and a different language. That's what we tell ourselves or tell one another, right? And then we got dreadlocks like a Hindu false idol, right? We over here doing all this astrology. We astrologists and all of that. You know what I'm saying? We just mixing everything. Once you decide that you're gonna lean on yourself, you just got a gumbo pot of just poison. And you just picking your poison. Now you picking your flavor of, you just picking your flavor of sin.
Right.
So now that so what's the answer then? What's the answer? Right? Let me get Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. I will Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17.
Oh.
The thing that we need to, the thing that's going keep us from suffering these curses and keep our oppressor from being able to infiltrate us and to get us to stray away from the Most High, so that they can make a move on us, so that they can cause our downfall, is to gather together, like we said in the beginning. Gather together and follow these laws, statutes, and commandments together. And Slacky, before you get that, let me get Ephesians chapter 4, verse 4. Like, we gotta do this together. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans gotta come together, and once we're together, we have to be together under one body with the one authority that the Most High chose to be the authority over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans on earth until Christ come back. That's what we got to do. That's the only way, because anything outside of that one authority that the Most High chose that's just us leaning on ourselves, or that's just a melting pot of all these other cultures, and that's what's going to keep us destroyed. You got that, Priest?
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 4. There is one body.
There is what?
One body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling.
There's only one body. See, that's the confusion that we get into. So we want to dip and dabble in all these different cultures and religions, thinking that it's all the same, or, you know what I'm saying, thinking that everything is all the same. We could just dibble and dabble and mix and match and do what we want to do and take what we want from these cultures. But that's where the confusion comes in, because the scripture just said there's one body. If you look outside, there's about 4 or 5 Christian churches I'm looking at right now. It's on this block alone. There's about 4 or 5 different denominations of Christian churches. And then if you go a little bit further up the road, you know what I'm saying, you got Korean churches and all these different Catholic churches and all of that, all these different denominations, and that's just Christianity. That ain't to mention the Muslim mosques and the like all these different things that our brothers and sisters fall into. You know what I'm saying? Like there's only one body. There's only one body, and that's the culture that's in this Bible. You know what I'm saying? That's the one body is under the authority that under the authority of Commander General Yohanan, man. That was passed down to him.
That's right.
That from what was established since 1969. Right. That's the one body of Christ, man. That's where we got to come together, man. And that's the only way. Now let me get that Proverbs, Baba Kashad. That's the only way we're gonna be able to separate from. We're gonna be able to survive the Christian church, and we also gonna be able to be wary and separate and avoid these other nations' cultures as well, without fooling ourselves into thinking that we're so righteous that we can teach ourselves, we can grade our own paper. Go ahead and read that, Baba Kashad.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
So this is the whole point. Like when you have brothers around you, when you have a rank structure, when you have an authority who you can report to, and you can go to, you can get counsel from, then now you have a fail-safe in place for when you can't see certain things, when you can't see certain mistakes that you may or not be about to make. Like that's the whole point. The brotherhood is for, you know what I'm saying, for us to be, when you having a dispute, right? When you're having a disagreement, you can go and get that dispute settled in council, right? You can, you know what I'm saying, when life is, you know what I'm saying, when you just having a hard, you know what I'm saying, when you having a hard time in life and all of that, things is, you know what I'm saying, you got people you can lean on, you know what I'm saying, so that in this hell, we got a little piece of heaven, we got a little oasis from, you know what I'm saying, from this captivity that we in, man. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of being in a body, right? Being in the body of Christ. Because if you're out there by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Read that again, Baba Kashad.
A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
So when you come up against, when you run into adversity, right? Like but you by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like you're more susceptible to just crumbling under that pressure of whatever got you, you know what I'm saying, going through it at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, use the same example. You trying to stop getting high, right? And you put down a blunt for a week, right? You put down a blunt for a week, and then you go to work one day, and then you just have a hard day at work, or you come home and your baby mama or your rib, you know what I'm saying, is giving you grief. 9 times out of 10, if you by yourself and you have the power to fluctuate that bar of that standard that you hold yourself to, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna succumb to just getting high, because your hell here is so excruciating from what you go through under this oppressor and at your slavery, and because your oppressor has given so much power to your, you know what I'm saying, to our women, you know what I'm saying, your women and your children are allowed to oppress you, right? So your life is so excruciating from all of these obstacles that are deliberately put in front of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? We feel like the easiest thing that we can do is just fold and get high. You know what I'm saying? But if you got brothers, then you can get counsel. You can call up a brother, and you know what I'm saying, just let them, you know what I'm saying, you can call up your brothers and be like, hey, look, I need some, you know what I'm saying, I need some brotherhood. I need some brothers. I need to be around the brothers right now, man. I need to get counsel on something. I need to, you know what I'm saying, whatever you need. And if whenever you can't, you know what I'm saying, wherever you're not strong at, or where you feel like you might fall into a trap, you know what I'm saying, your brother could pick you up. But if you so if you by yourself, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got nobody to lean on but yourself. And that's where you're gonna make the decision to do something that's gonna anger the Lord and put us back in a position of being in captivity. Now on the flip side, what if your brother is going through adversity? Now if your brother's going through adversity, how can you be there for your brother if you're not with him? If you're not gathered together with your brothers under one banner, under one body, under one authority and one structure, how can you know what your brother needs or what he don't need? How can you know how you can help your brother? Being an individual, it sounds like peace for a little bit. It might feel peaceful for a little bit, where you ain't gotta you ain't gotta you know what I'm saying, feud with nobody. You ain't gotta feud with your brother. You ain't gotta battle, or you know what I'm saying, you ain't gotta deal with no what's the word? Like, you ain't gotta deal with no problems with your brother. You ain't gotta deal with no offenses, or you ain't gotta deal with offending your brother or your brother offending you. You know what I'm saying? Being a loner, that might sound like peace. It might sound like peace for a little bit, but when you fall on hard times, you know what I'm saying, you just opening the door for your life to become more hell because you don't have nobody to lean on. The scripture just said, a friend loveth at all times, and your brother is born for adversity. And trust in hell, as Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, America is our hell. So living in America, you're bound to go through adversity. You know what I'm saying? You're bound to see, you're bound to go through adversity and go through trials and fight demons and, you know what I'm saying, battle, you know what I'm saying? You're when you battling demons, when you battling certain, you know what I'm saying, addictions or certain urges to transgress against the Most High, you're gonna be battling that for the rest of your life. You're bound to run into instances where you just need to lean on a brother. You know what I'm saying? But if you by yourself, then you ain't got nobody to lean on. And vice versa, if your brother needs you and you not, you know what I'm saying, if your brother needs you, you wouldn't know it. You know what I'm saying? I can guarantee if he asks any, you know what I'm saying, solo Israelite or solo, you know what I'm saying, Christian or whatever the case is, anybody who, you know what I'm saying, uh lean on themselves, you know what I'm saying, is spiritual. That's the word I'm looking for. Anybody who's spiritual, I guarantee they will say, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, if you need me, just call me. Or if they I guarantee if you ask anybody who calls themselves spiritual, they're like, yeah, I'll help anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need me, you know what I'm saying, just call me and blah 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 whoop de whoop, right? But there's no way to know what your brother needs if you're not gathered together with them, if you're not standing next to them, if you're not warring next to them. It's impossible to know what that brother or sister needs and what that brother or sister is going through. It's so important for us to understand that. Bob Kashai, can I get 1 Corinthians chapter 13? Like, this is what I know it's hard to, like, you know what I'm saying? Again, I know it sounds like peace. I know it sounds like peace to not have to deal with offenses or not have to deal with a brother offending you or you offending a brother or sister, or, you know what I'm saying, having to share. you know what I'm saying, having to share your you know what I'm saying, your resources and your time and your money and your whatever, your energy with your brother and sister. I know that sounds like peace, where everything, that all your money is yours, all your food, you know what I'm saying? You only got one mouth to feed, you only got one roof to you know what I'm saying, you only gotta worry about one roof over your head. You only gotta worry about you know what I'm saying, putting clothes on one person, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
because yourself. I know it sounds like peace, but this is what we got to understand right here. You got that First Corinthians. You want to start at 1? Chapter 13, verse 4.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, let me get there with you right quick. It's a lot. What's up? A lot. First Corinthians. Oh, yeah, just fold it.
This is the book of First Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 4. Charity suffereth long.
Charity do what?
Suffereth long.
Charity is brotherhood, man.
Right.
Your brother, when you got brothers around you, I know it sounds so peaceful to just be by yourself, but once you take a L, those L's are so much greater when you by yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? We end up in situations where we in homeless shelters, and we sleeping on the streets, and we wandering like vagabonds, and we, you know what I'm saying, when it's a brother standing who could be standing right next to you, who is willing and able to help you, who is willing and able, you know what I'm saying, to help you battle through your addictions or your demons that you fighting, who can point you in a direction to get righteous counsel. The brother who could be standing right next to you, who can provide all of that for you. But you know what I'm saying, we prefer to just be alone because of the how peaceful it can, you know what I'm saying, it sounds. But read that again, Bob Prashad.
Charity suffereth long.
The charity suffer long. Like, just like if you take an L and you by yourself, that L is gonna feel like, you know what I'm saying, that L gonna feel monumental. You know what I'm saying? You by yourself, right? But if you got brothers, you know what I'm saying, and if y'all win together, you know what I'm saying, those wins are gonna be monumental as well. And if you take an L and you got brothers around you, you know what I'm saying, you can lean on one another. You don't have to just fall back on yourself. But the problem is, Salaki, let me get hold that. We're gonna come right back to that. Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 9. See, being a solo, being solo, you know what I'm saying, just leaning on yourself, relying on yourself, you know what I'm saying, it ain't all this, like we just read, man. Your heart is deceitfully wicked, man. But leaning on yourself, you're only going to set yourself up to fall into a bigger ditch, to lead yourself to destruction, right? But you got that, Bruce?
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 9. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor.
Two are better than one. So if you go ahead and read on.
Verse 10. But if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
If you fall, you have a brother right there who will lift you up, like you said earlier, who can point you in the direction of counsel if they see you slipping. Because you're not, you know what I'm saying, you could think that you on your game, on your A game, and the brother, you know what I'm saying, pull you to the side and be like, hey, you go up? Everything good with you? They might see some things on you, right? They might see some things that you're not able to see, right? Go ahead, read on. So if you fall, you know what I'm saying, that brother can pick you up, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case is. They can lift you up and help you through that. Go ahead, read on.
But woe to him that is alone when he falls.
Say that again.
But woe to him that is alone when he falleth.
Woe means destruction. But if you by yourself, if you fall and you by yourself, ain't nobody there. It ain't nobody there to pick you up. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nobody there to pick you up. You just gotta. It's just you by yourself. It's just you, and that's just gonna lead to destruction. Go ahead, read on.
But he hath not another to help him up.
You ain't got nobody to help you. So 9 times out of 10, after you know what I'm saying, you leaning on yourself, you're gonna fall right back into what's easy, what's been easy, which is you know what I'm saying, getting high, being an alcoholic, being a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, let you come up out the life, you know what I'm saying, come up out the streets, right? And you try to get you or what they call a honest living. You know what I'm saying? Try to get you a little 9 to 5. You come up out the streets, right? Let you lose that job. Let them have layoffs. Let them, you know what I'm saying, have pay cuts. Let them, whatever the case is, and that pressure get on you. That pressure get on you. Now you got behind payments. Your lights about to get cut off. You getting eviction notices and all of that. What's the first thing a brother gonna consider? If you by yourself and you remember the type of fast lifestyle that you was living when you was, you know what I'm saying, running the streets or whatever the case is, well, I'm right, sir. But if you you know what I'm saying, if you fall in the world and you by yourself and you fall on you know what I'm saying, for example, financial hardships, right? The first thing you gonna think about is how when you was running them streets, you know what I'm saying, making that fast money, you ain't never have to worry about your lights getting cut off. You ain't never have to worry about getting food or eating good. You was eating that cheesecake factory and Roof Chris and all these, you know what I'm saying, all these you was eating deliciously when you was running them streets. That's what's gonna be on your mind. That's what goes on our mind when we're by ourselves. But if you got a brother with you, if you got a brother, if you got a brother with you, you know what I'm saying, you got a brother to lean on, man. So you ain't gotta go back to that type of lifestyle. You ain't gotta go back to, you know what I'm saying, getting high because it's comfortable. And and you ain't got no solution for your problem, man. You can get real solutions, but you can't get that while you by yourself. Any more on that?
Uh,
Let me get verse 11, Baba Shah.
Again, if two lie together, then they have heart, heat slacking. But how can one be warm alone?
We, you know what I'm saying? Like if you you know what I'm saying, if you cold, you know what I'm saying, you can lean on one another to draw heat, you know what I'm saying? It's just to use the metaphor, right? You could draw heat from one another. But if you by yourself and you cold, you know what I'm saying, that's just that. You know what I'm saying? You just cold. That's it. Lord be with you. But that's the importance again of having a body, right? Being a part of a body, being a part of a body. And the only authorized body under Christ, man, has been established since 1969. Now under the authority of Commandant General Yahana, man. That's the only authorized body in the world right now, man. Because if you go into any other body, if you go into any other these fake Israelite groups, you know what I'm saying, that you going right back into the Christian church. You going right back to square one.
Right.
Then you going right back into square one because you left the Christian church because of all the molestation and the homosexuality and the closet and all of the wickedness and the gossiping and all the poison that was in there. You join one of these purple groups or one of these break off groups, you're gonna join into another place where they got homosexual cop organizations. They arresting, you know what I'm saying? You left the streets because you was trying to you was sick of seeing your brothers get locked up and going to jail and spending your life in a cell. And then you join one of these purple groups, and then they got undercover cop organizations who are falsely arresting blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Like, you going right from the Christian church to a Christian church with beards, a Christian church with purple and head wraps, but it's all the Christian church, right? You know what I'm saying? With effeminate and homosexual men in there. Like, that's what you're doing. You're going into these breakoff groups, and you're going to join into another group where you left the Christian church because of the molestation that was going on in there. You're going to join another Christian Israelite group who are going to teach your brothers, you know what I'm saying, teach Black, Hispanics, and Native American men and women that you can sleep with an underage child, and that's your wife and that's your husband. Or they teach you to groom up children for sexual relationships. That's what you're gonna leave the Christian church, and you're gonna join a Christian Israelite group who's gonna do that exact same thing that you left the Christian church for. Right. You're gonna leave the Christian church, and you're gonna leave the Christian church for all these different things, and you're gonna join. If you join anywhere up that's not under this banner in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge established in 1969, if you join anywhere else, you're just going to go from one Christian church to another Christian church. Oh, Baba Gashal, let me get Matthew chapter 22 verse 38, or 37. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might think that, you know what I'm saying? And that's the deceit of that. This is the deceit of our hearts, man. Like, where we hear these things and it just sounds so wrong. Where we just like, we the home of the truth. The ISUPK is the home of the truth. It just sounds so arrogant, don't it? I understand. But your Christian church, I ain't never heard no Christian church say they the home of the truth. And look where they're full of poison. None of these other Christian Israelite groups can say that they're the home of the truth. And they're full of poison. They're full of deceit and destruction and just disgusting. And you might as well just, good night. Like, like, there's no organization on this earth who can say that they are the home of the truth for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So it may sound arrogant when us in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge say that we're the home of the truth. It might sound arrogant, but what you can rest assured is your children are safe here. Your sons and your daughters are safe here. Your sisters and your brothers are safe here. You ain't got to worry about your brother sleeping with your wife or your wives, because they respect that you have your wives and he has his wife. You don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about whether you ain't got to worry about offending your brother, or you ain't got to worry about your brother offending you or you offending your brother, because we know how to handle disputes. We know how to handle our disputes according to the Bible, right? What else we at? And you still got that Corinthians, or you Salaki. Now you ain't got to go back to it. But we know how to suffer long with one another. We know that when you gather together with a nation who's not desired, it comes with, you know what I'm saying, trauma that you have to you know what I'm saying, get the Lord's judgment on. You have to get counseled on. It comes with things like, you know what I'm saying, it comes with offenses. You're going to offend your brother. Even in a perfect world, you know what I'm saying, you're going to offend your brother. You know what I'm saying? If y'all spend enough time together, you're going to offend your brother. You're going, you know what I'm saying, step on a brother's toes. You know what I'm saying? But we know how to handle those things. And you're not going to see, there's no murder in this organization, which, you know what I'm saying, there's no murder in this organization. There's no undercover homosexuality or no undercover cop organization scheme. There's no undercover PSYOP schemes in this organization. You know what I'm saying? Our children are gonna be protected and raised and not molested in this organization. And that's the importance. That's the importance. That's why Christ said there's one. That's why the scripture said there's one body. So like you might getting that Matthew. You got that Matthew?
God, God. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 37. Jesus said unto them, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Verse 38. That this is the first and great commandment.
So this is the whole point, right? This is what the whole the whole law hangs on. These two commandments. You love the Most High with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, right? And go ahead and read on.
And the second is like unto it.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if you're out here solo, then you know what I'm saying, who's your neighbor?
Right.
Who's your neighbor? Right? And you can't love the Most High because the Most High said gather together. See, the thing about not being being solo and not being in this one body under this one banner with this one spirit is as soon as adversity comes and you by yourself, you're gonna fight against whoever you don't agree with.
Right.
You're gonna fight whoever doesn't agree with you. And this is why we devour one another. Because we all solo out here. We've been solo for so long out here. And as soon as adversity and as soon as things get hard, we like every man for themselves. Every man for themselves, man. And we start to look out for ourselves. We do what's comfortable, which is take care of ourselves and neglect our brother, man. But the scripture just said, love your brother or love your neighbor as yourself. Love your brother. That's not talking about these other nations, right? Who we want to give our love to. It's talking about your Black, Hispanic, and Native American brother and sister. But if you by yourself, you don't know who's with you. You don't know who's with you because you're by yourself. You haven't come into the body and vetted brothers out and let brothers vet you out and find out that the real, you know what I'm saying, this real brotherhood in here. You haven't done that. So whenever you fall on hard times, you're gonna make an enemy of anybody who's outside of yourself. And that's what makes us devour one another. That's what makes us kill our brother. That's what makes us, you know what I'm saying, steal from our brother, rob our brother, sell drugs to our brother's mother and father, and our brother's children, and our brother, and our sisters. That's what makes us want to leave our wives, and our wives leave their husband. Because we so comfortable with being solo. And as all it takes is for you to have a hard time, and which is common in hell. It's very common in hell. All it takes for you to have a hard time real quick, and you're going to be willing to devour your brother. You're going to be willing to make an enemy out of our brother. That's what we do. But, you know what I'm saying? We just need to gather together, like Zephaniah 2:1 says, man. Gather together. Once you leave that Christian church, you gather together with your brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? And we follow the men above us, man. Follow the men above us, man, so that we can have a strong family together, so that we don't have to rely on these other nations. We don't have to rely on their cultures. And we don't have to be out here by ourselves relying on our deceitful heart, our deceitful minds. Well, with that, we're going to pass the class over to Precinct Officer Bon Zion.
This is the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, on the command of Junior Honor. Rules for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tent in the Hebrew. Ma'asharah. Tent of every penny of any increase the Lord give you. Give to treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests. Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the memorial of blowing of trumpets, first day of the 7th month, Friday, the 15th of September, 2023, found in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 24 through 25. Remind Akim and Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a troop in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, headband, scarf. That includes the security announcements.
Madyam, Star, we're gonna start walking Yahakadam, face the east, we're gonna do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. There's the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Fadah. Shimka. Yahweh. Balafukah. Tabah. Ratazaka. Hayam. Aisha. Baratazak. Kawah. Hayam. Hashemai. Bethanel. Latsau. Tall. Yawam. Wasalakna. Tawabakna. Salakna. Tawabakina. Walaham. Daviana. Vanasai one. Abba. Shana. Mayam. Ra. Taya. Laka. Amalakwa. Wahala. Watapara. I love you. Come on. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debt. As we forgive our debtors. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory. So be. Sorry, face the brother. Give a curse salute to the brothers. Individual, Majid Shabbat. Imagine. Yajimata. Sorry, we're going to give a curse salute to the sisters. Individual, Majid Shabbat. Imagine. Yajimata. Dismiss.